I watched a new Mortal Kombat movie over the weekend and decided it needed a review. Like many others, I grew up with the games, and I praise Mortal Kombat 9 as one of the greatest things to happen to the fighting game community that I'm fairly certain no other game has tried to learn from in the past 10 years. But I'm not actually part of the fighting game community, so I may be just full of this movie. Did you see what I did there? I'm full of this movie because this movie was shit. And I'm going to explain why it was shit. The spoilers are not going to matter. If you're planning on watching, I assure you I'm not going to be ruining anything for you. I'm currently giving it a 5 out of 10, but let's see if that gets any lower as I lay this out. First important question, was this movie made for people who already knew the series? Or for people who didn't? By the end of the movie, and even now, I still don't have a clear answer. But I think it's for people who didn't know the games beforehand, because why would you otherwise abuse the entire established MK universe like this? But if that's the case, the opening sequence was no good, because everything was so vague and had a what's going on and why should I care aura around it, even for someone like me who knows the plot, that I would not say they pulled it off. Oh, wait, after the opening sequence you just give us this screenshot of text kind of explaining what's going on? Well, okay then. It was the conflict of Scorpion versus Sub-Zero. In fact, this whole movie is really just Scorpion versus Sub-Zero. I get that they are the two most popular characters in the series. I'm even a Scorpion fanboy myself. But for the love of God, stop it. With the movies and the games. It's like this entire multi-dimensional universal tournament revolves around these two dudes who don't even care that much about the tournament. I'm not saying never have them fight again, but at least tease us a little before you shove it inside of us every chance you get. Some of the first pieces of dialogue gives us a good feeling of the rest of the movie and just how awkward it was. And the look on their face says it all. I don't really know any of these characters yet, and nothing happened to make us feel the love. So they die, which is emotional I guess. We get Scorpion vs Sub-Zero Part 1, and Scorpion dies. The Hasashi bloodline has ended by the hands of the Lin Kuei. If you're not a Mortal Kombat person and don't know who the Lin Kuei is, don't worry, they never explain. Raiden shows up after everyone's dead to discover a baby that was hidden. Allow me to do a bit of a technical criticism. When you think of Mortal Kombat, especially with anything involving live action, you think hyped, pumped up energy. Much like its ever-loved theme song from the first movie, you want things to feel fast-paced and adrenaline flowing through your veins. The opening title should reflect that. Instead, they chose a song that felt like some long, epic journey. It didn't really fit in my opinion. So we cut away to the new main character they invented just for this movie, Colt. Here's why I'm guessing they went with this route, inventing Colt. He follows the same formula as pretty much any other isekai protagonist from anime. He's completely devoid of any and all personality. I mean, he's not even a one-dimensional trope, he's just one-dimensional. This makes other losers more able to easily relate to and put themselves in his shoes. Let me explain several new plot points now so I don't have to stop the flow over and over again. All the established lore mythology that Mortal Kombat has built up for almost 30 years, they decided they won't use it for this movie. Instead, for the tournament, the ones who are allowed to participate are the ones who get this dragon birthmark on them. And if you kill someone with this birthmark, it gets transferred to you, like a regular birthmark. This allows you to unlock your Arcana, which is the brand new mystical woo-woo thing they invented for this movie that unlocks all your weird superpowers. So Kano, for example, no longer shoots a laser out of his metal eye with the help of technology. Now it's just magic out of his regular eye. Anyway, back to the, plot. Jax meets up with Colt, the loser MMA fighter who had just lost another fight, and yeah. Anyway, Colt goes out to eat with his family, but not before he starts getting random flashes of Hanzo in his mind. While at the restaurant, we get reintroduced to the only fighter on the enemy side that matters, Bihan, or wait.
I am no longer Bihan. I am Sub-Zero.
In this movie, Sub-Zero is basically God. He doesn't just freeze people. This dude can freeze entire gyms if he wants to, and can make a ridiculous amount of ice to shoot from a distance. Actually, why did he decide to start his attack from such a long distance? What a terrible ninja. Shenanigans happens and Jax faces off against Sub-Zero, where we get the awesome scene of his arms being frozen and broken. Random generic NPC, Colt, bids his family farewell as he is told where to find Sonya Blade, which he proceeds to do so, and I must say the actress for Sonya is even better than the original, I think. Same thing with Kano, who so happens to be tied up by her. Honestly, this Kano is the new Kano in my mind. The actor was spot on, and he is just hilarious all throughout the film.
There's much to learn. The fuck?
The only downside is in the writing. Kano is a bitch. A pure, pushover bitch. He is the living embodiment of that one dude who tries to make everyone think he's tough, only to be beat up by his little sister. I'm not a Kano fanboy or anything of the sort, I never played him. But come on people, he was supposed to make jokes, not to be a joke. And the film is aware of that, because the way they unlocked his magic laser eye thingy was everyone was making fun of him for how weak he was, until he got so mad he went pew pew! Kano got his mark through killing a random nobody who so happened to be a chosen one, but I guess we'll ignore that. And hey, look, it's Reptile. He was sent by Shang Tsung, who I'm going to make fun of a bit later. But in this MK universe, there is a vague prophecy that says that they will lose the 10th tournament, and I really hope they expand on this vague prophecy in the next film. They decide they're going to hunt down every champion on Earth and kill them before the tournament even begins. Does this break any established MK rules set by the all-powerful Elder Gods? Oh, we'll get to that. Reptile has been established as humanoid since, well, forever. At the very least he could talk. I don't know why they went with full lizard man, but okay. Kano gets to do a fatality, and where he says the classic winning line.
Kano wins. You fucking beauty.
They made it fit so well into the film that I'm honestly impressed. Some BS happens, and of course they have a plane and know how to skydive onto Raiden's island. They meet Liu Kang and are taken back to the temple. Jax is still alive, Raiden calls everyone weak, things happen, and Shang Tsung decides to go to the island to finish off the remaining champions. Now, is this against the rules? Yes. Will the Elder Gods do anything about it? No. Will Raiden decide to fight since the rules are broken? No. My god, do I hate how Shang Tsung looks. What is with that getup? It's just ugly and looks nothing like any of the other Shang Tsungs. Why the black eyes? And why doesn't Mileena have a mask? She is supposed to have a damned mask. You're supposed to give hints of what's behind that mask until something happens, it gets pulled off, and her hideous face is revealed. Why did you skip that? Why aren't you teasing me more? So after we get some mini action, oh hey Kung Lao, Raiden puts up a barrier, and it's time to train to bring out the new fighter's arcana. Sonya cannot train because she doesn't have the marking and therefore cannot access the woo-woo magic. So she goes back to Jax, who I forgot to mention got his mark 7 years ago by killing someone with supernatural powers who also had it. Who was it, you ask? I don't know, and neither do you. Jax now has some new ugly looking robotic arms. Where did these arms come from? They were not there less than an hour ago, and they're in some secret secluded monk temple. Where did this technology come from? Did I miss the explanation? I mean, this is some really advanced technology here. It's hooked up directly to his nerves with no wires from what I can tell, and since he hasn't unlocked his woo-woo, it can't be magic. What is this? What the hell is this? I can overlook a lot, but come on. Training doesn't go well for anyone. So Liu Kang and Kung Lao decide to piss off Kano enough to give him his magic woo-woo laser eye as mentioned before. Colt, yeah, he's still kind of in this movie, which at this point it seems like his only purpose is to have random visions of Scorpion. It's not progressing very far, so Raiden sends him away cause he sucks. The baddies come up with a plan with these brand new characters. They keep saying his name is Cabal, but from the way he speaks, to the way he moves...
I think I can help. Did you see a guy down there? Complete fucking asshole. Answers to Kano.
Nothing about him makes me think Cabal. He was one of my main dudes in MK3 as well. Shame. And his brand new autistic fighter with the Flintstones hammer is named Reiko. Surely it can't be the same Reiko as in the video games because that Reiko doesn't have violent Down syndrome. Cabal hatches a plan with Kano, who betrays everyone and breaks the barrier, and we're basically at the two-part finale now. A bunch of fights happen, and I was not impressed with any of the fights. Colt ends up fighting Goro, which was an utter disappointment. He has 4 arms, but if you decide to take 2 of them away, you wouldn't really notice a difference. They don't do anything creative with the extra appendages. Colt's family, that I keep forgetting exists because they are nothing, are put in danger, and this makes Colt awaken his arcana. And he gets a fancy new suit, and some fancy tonfa blades. And he kills Goro. It's as climactic as it sounds. Elsewhere, Sonya fights Melina, but loses. However, Melina does not kill her, because the plot requires Sonya to live. You wish there was something deeper here, but there isn't. Kano beats her up some more, Jax gets beat up by the giant mentally challenged man, Liu Kang gets beat up by Cabal, Kung Lao manages to get a fatality on whoever the hell this is supposed to be. She was in Deadly Alliance, but then didn't matter for the rest of the franchise, so I guess she was a good character to throw away. But in the original game, she cannot be in Earthrealm because she's a vampire and the sun hurts her. Well, not anymore I guess. Colt gets teleported back to the temple. He's about to be killed by Sub-Zero until Kung Lao steps in. And what in the hell even is Shang Tsung in this movie? Kung Lao did not take any damage when he fought that nobody. He is still full health, but Shang Tsung just pulled him in and stole his soul with no resistance. Motherfucker, if you were that powerful, why don't you just walk around and do that to everyone? Why do you even need minions? You could have just walked around and killed everyone with ease. I like Kung Lao, and after giving one of the best fatalities in the film, they killed him like a bitch. I am okay with, and if anything encourage, the good guys dying, but not in such a disrespectful way. Things happened, so Sonya was crushed under some heavy rocks. So Jax had to rescue her, and because of that, he unlocks his arcana, which is his metal arms. So it's not really technology I guess, it's magic? But why the hell not? You gave him the other robot arms out of literally nowhere. Why not give him these metal ones in a similar fashion? Raiden finally decides to do something and pulls everyone out into a void. Despite the rules being clearly violated, he still does not fight. He's been more physically violent with his own champions than with his enemies. Colt tries to have a personality, but fails, and comes up with the brilliant idea of fighting everyone one-on-one. And then everyone acknowledges that Sub-Zero is so powerful, they'll save him for last because only together can they beat him. Why is he over 400 years old to begin with? Magic, I guess. Speaking of which, we now find out why Colt keeps having visions of Scorpion. He's the long-lost descendant of that baby that was saved. So Sub-Zero, the most powerful fighter next to Shang Tsung, and the main character who is the ancestor of Hanzo Hasashi. How can this go? So Colt fights Melina. Meh. Jack fights Reiko. Terrible fight. Even the fatality felt lackluster. Liu Kang fights Cabal, which again was lackluster except for the awesome fatality he delivered. Sonya fought Kano in what I can only describe as a not Mortal Kombat fight. It felt like a standard fight in a closed space between two characters in a basic action movie. Eventually, Sonya kills Kano, inhibits the mark, and immediately gets her arcana unlocked because all the bullshit mentioned earlier about intense emotions and whatnot needed to unlock it don't apply anymore, and she uses it to kill Melina. Sub-Zero shows up and lets us know that he has taken Colt's family. The family that Raiden keeps not saving even though he can. So Colt goes after him and they teleport to his old gym that is now covered in ice. The fight was decent. I enjoyed how they used the frozen landscape, but it eventually had to climax to the final true battle.
Get over here!
Probably the best fight of the movie. I enjoyed it, but I must nitpick a little thing. Scorpion shouts the classic line, but he lived in 1600s Japan. He didn't know English. This is shown when he speaks in non-English to Colt multiple times. Anyway, Scorpion gets the fatality, Noob Saibot is set up, family is saved because plot, Shang Tsung says he's got a lot more fighters, and the current remaining Earthrealm warriors must now go and look for more champions, including Johnny Cage, who is set up to be in the next movie. If someone were to ask me what would I change in the plot to make this a better movie, I would just light the script on fire and start over, because there is nothing salvageable about this movie plot-wise. Liu Kang was a bitch most of the movie. Colt is a generic NPC. They did Kung Lao dirty. At least have Shang Tsung showcase his mysterious strength and have him rough up Kung Lao for 30 seconds before killing him. There's too many bad things in this film. The only good things were the character portrayals of Kano and Sonya. No one else had me feeling it was those characters. At the end of the script, I have dropped my rating down to a 4 out of 10. It's silly that you would take the biggest fighting game franchise and turn it into this. There's been several fan-made concepts and trailers that have done a better job than this movie. I'm going to keep repeating these sentiments in all of my videos. Hollywood is dead. They don't care about you, and have lost the plot, pun semi-intended, of what a good story actually is. They are too focused on eating babies or whatever they do nowadays. That's my review. Don't watch it. Buy my tea.